when death had no name, time stood still, life had no ending.
All right, so this evening here on the Source Material Podcast, yes, get ready, Ronnie Adams. Here we go. Show's beginning. We are going to be discussing a book that came out. Jesse doesn't remember when this came out. Mark Radulich, do you have the trade there in front of you?
I do.
What does it say there? Does it have a date on the inside by chance? If not, I'm going to look it up.
Maybe.
I remember when this came out, as in like being around. It wasn't too long ago. 2013. I've got it.
It came first printing 2013.
There we go. Thanos Rising, a 5-issue comic book limited series published by Marvel Comics that debuted April 3rd, 2013. Here's a book about one of the most iconic Marvel villains, and that is Thanos. And Thanos is going to be most likely pronounced two different ways tonight. Thanos and Thanos. So just get used to it.
I call him George.
Why are we doing this book here, Mark Radulich? Because I know we usually have a reason as to why we hop into...
There's always a reason for the season, baby dolls.
That's right.
And that is Avengers, Infinity War, the end of 20 million years of Marvel movies finally culminating in precious jewelry and gloves that Thanos will use to snap his fingers and wreck the universe. Yeah, Avengers Infinity War comes out, if you're listening to this when it's supposed to go up, this week. And so we are actually doing 2 shows to support and synergize with this movie. First being Thanos Rising, kind of looking at the origin of Thanos, and then on the day Infinity War actually comes out this Thursday, Jesse will drop our rebroadcast of our Infinity War discussion, because he may have talked about Infinity War once, but I wasn't on that show, so it doesn't count.
It'll be a lot of fun. Infinity Gauntlet is always a fun story to talk about because it was one of the most popular Marvel events of its time, if not still now. Obviously, we have a movie that's almost dedicated to it, and one of the most important comic book franchise, let's try this again, comic book movie franchises in my life. Honestly, so this Infinity Gauntlet will be a good discussion. Now, the thing we're talking about tonight, just like Mark said, it's the origin of the villain Thanos. So I wondered what we were going to get in here in this book. So here we go. Let's go ahead and we'll hop into the creative team. Now, the writer is somebody that we've talked about before on this podcast, and that is one Jason Aaron. He's done a lot of great books. I believe the one that we haven't done yet is the Thor the God Butcher saga. That's got to come up at some point here on the show. Oh man, there's a ton of other great stuff that he's done. I think I just actually listened to it wasn't a recent podcast, but he had done an independent book called Scalped, I think. Jason Aaron, Wikipedia. Here we go. All right. So the man is known for, there is a book called Southern Bastards. Ronnie, have you read any Southern Bastards? What do you think of it?
Ronnie, you seem like the type who've read Southern Bastards, have you?
And actually I have. It started off really good and then it got a little weird.
Yeah, it's like, what was it, Friday Night Lights?
On crack.
He has also done Scalped, which is a DC/Vertigo book. Marvel Comics, he's had his hand in Wolverine, Wolverine and the X-Men, AVX. Ghost Rider, that was another thing. Ghost Rider, he did Volume 4, 20 through 35. So he had a little run on Ghost Rider that I ended up actually getting in a lot off of somebody a while back. So anyway, Jason Aaron's got a great comic book lineage behind him, and he has written some great stories that I've read. The one guy that made me pay attention to Thor is Jason Aaron. He has his hands on the Mad Titan Thanos here. Now, pencils for the book is one Simone Bianchi. Well, I'll tell you right now, his art is it's pretty nice. I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. It fit very well with the book. So let's go ahead. What we're going to do here, I'm just going to give me like 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm going to run down the story. Hopefully it won't take that long. And then we're just going to hop in with some talking points here.
You're going to say run down the road.
Run down the road.
Give me a minute. I'm going to run away from home.
Before we get into that, Thanos, Ronnie Adams, I mean, you know much about the character? Have you read a whole lot with him in it?
Well, yeah.
Okay. All right. We've talked Infinity Gauntlet. I know that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read anything else with him in it?
A lot of stuff.
Would you mind telling us what it is, sir?
You remember anything off the top of your head?
And where were you on the night of? No, go ahead.
We actually did
it. What's with the third degree?
We actually did a book on here. Me and you did a Spider-Man book where it was Spider-Man versus Thanos. You remember that? It was Dean Compton specifically requested that one. I asked for the greatest single issue. Somebody first one to comment, and it was just a standalone Spider-Man issue that came out in the 90s, right after I think McFarlane's run on Spider-Man, because I don't think McFarlane was doing the art. But anyway, you can go back in the archives and find that. It was an interesting story considering Peter Parker dies in that book. But anyway, can you think of anything else? If not, Ronnie,
Deadpool versus Thanos.
Deadpool versus Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness! You've read that, and what'd you think?
He hates Deadpool because, everyone hates Deadpool. Not because he's the merc with the mouth and just annoying.
I was going to say Thanos doesn't look like he appreciates a lot of shenanigans.
No,
right. But the main reason he hates him is because Death loves Deadpool.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that's when Deadpool was cursed with the gift of life.
This has come up before. I remember this has come up before, or I've talked to somebody who's told me a little bit about what happened in that book. I haven't read it, but it sounds very interesting. So it was an enjoyable read.
Pretty good. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, almost. I enjoy a good Deadpool book, and it was a good Deadpool book. It was different, but for me it was an enjoyable read.
Okay, Mark, you got much history with the character Thanos?
My major thing that I associate with Thanos is the Infinity Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
Because after that, I don't remember much. Though I do own one trade of Thanos versus Hulk, which is a horseshit read because it's really like Hulk versus Annihilus.
Oh,
yeah, I remember
Thanos
that.
Is a walkthrough. Like, hi, I'm Thanos.
Thanks for reading.
Like, comes in, grabs a sandwich from Annihilus and walks out.
I mean, the whole thing is like, Annihilus versus Hulk, and occasionally Thanos just walks through with a cigar and a mustache. So it's like, hello, everyone, and just keeps on, he's got Proxima Midnight honking a horn behind him. It's fantastic.
When did he turn into the Marx Brothers?
He's like, let me get out of these wet tings and turn into a dry martini. Anyway, that's really all I know about Thanos. I know that he was a pain in the Avengers ass, and there's a bunch of trades that have to do with like Thanos and the Silver Surfer. Of course, we know it's the Silver Surfer who gets the Infinity Gauntlet off of Thanos. But
is it?
If I remember correctly, yeah, it's like Adam Warlock. No, I thought the way the Infinity Gauntlet ends,
not.
Is Adam
he goes after it, and in the millisecond it takes, for him to realize, he turns and Surfer misses. It was Nebula.
I remember that.
Oh, I thought it was Adam Warlock drops his drawers and Adam and Thanos.
Hey, looky here!
Mesmerized by Warlock's penis. At which point,
oh my gosh! Why do you have to talk about somebody's dong every time we do a podcast?
And the Silver Surfer, I really thought it ended this way though. The Silver Surfer just runs by and grabs the gauntlet off of Thanos' hand.
Whoop, 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 whoop. And just keeps on going.
Catch me!
There is a what if the Silver Surfer had possession of the Infinity Gauntlet. That is a what if book that's out there. I don't know if I've read that or not. I own 2 copies, but I don't know if I've read it. But yeah, Ronnie's right. He goes after it and totally misses just by a split second. Yeah, we'll be covering that again there, Mark Radlich. We'll get your story straight here once we talk that book.
Adam Warlock's penis.
I have so many jokes. I will tell you though, on a serious note, that tomorrow, as a extra special bonus episode 159 of source material, there will be an airing, and that is, I guess, make that tomorrow as in April 17th, an auction discussion where me and Golden Age Dave talked about the auction I had the chance to go to on April 6th. The reason I'm bringing that up is
Adam Warlock's penis.
I saw the first appearance of Adam Warlock, which, by the way, the cover, it reminded me of a Powerpuff Girls episode because it was Adam Warlock, I think, was known as him, just him for a while.
He was.
Wait, what's
nice?
What was he known as?
Him.
You know what's funny about this? I don't feel well. Okay, like my sinuses hurt and I'm tired. And like right before we got on the podcast, and I'd like halfway fallen asleep on the couch. I almost called out tonight because I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to record. I'm like, no, I called out a lot last year because I had the cancer, and and I don't want to call.
I feel so bad about laughing at that, but the way you put it is just gold.
So I was like, no, like I make Jesse do all of these shows. I write this crazy schedule. I can't then bail out just because I have the sniffles. And I'm like, and before we got distracted with Jesse's ridiculous car troubles, I was going to say to Ronnie, I'm not going to give you any shit tonight, Ronnie, because I'm really tired and I'm really sick and I just want to go to bed. Meanwhile, I can't stop talking shtick. And speaking of shtick, Adam Warlock's penis.
Oh my
goodness.
Him.
Oh, him.
But anyway, yes, Adam Warlock's first appearance was a
quality shows for you here, ladies and gentlemen. Quality shows.
And the first appearance of Thanos.
I'll be curious to see what he cuts tonight and puts in the
in the old gag reel.
Yep.
Oh man, and what is left on the cutting room floor. So okay, here we go. Thanos Rising, 2013.
I can summarize the story.
Okay.
Thanos is born. His mother nearly kills him. He becomes a awkward teen. Starts hallucinating, kills a bunch of people, continues to kill a bunch of people, kills more people. Story ends.
Now that is this book, these books,
so wrong
in a nutshell, and does Jason Aaron so much disservice, because this tale was told very, very swimmingly, in my opinion. It was actually swimmingly. It was done well. So yes, what Mark said is pretty much correct. Now I'm going to give you a little bit more finer details here. Okay. Sorry, Mark, you're going to have to sit through it. Thanos, born a mutated member of the population of Titan, whose own mother tried to kill him after birth, grew up almost like any other child. A vivid imagination, an incomprehensible appetite for knowledge, Thanos was at times weak-willed and a stark contrast to what we know of him today. It isn't until he meets a young girl who convinces him to take his friends to explore some caves, and they get trapped in a collapse. Thanos is the only one that survives, and many think him to have murdered his own friends. His only friend, the nameless girl, stays by his side, persuading him to take his revenge on the lizard beasts that ate his friends in the cave. A few years pass, and Thanos' curiosity grows as he has now taken up the hobby of vivisecting animals. Thanos has also grown passionate for the girl that he met long ago, and even though she is still by his side, she seems to have no interest in his advances, but only to advance Thanos in filling the void he has by upping his game. And that next level is dissecting those like him. Not him, but dissecting other Titans, I guess we would say, other members of his race.
You will remember the Titans.
Yes, you will. There is even a point where Thanos says he will kill no more, and he is sickened at what he has become. But his soul companion makes him realize that he just hasn't looked in the right place to understand himself. It is then Thanos realizes he must murder and dissect his own mother. Now that's issues 1 through 2 right there.
Like you do.
Oh, yeah.
I knew that was happening.
Mommy issues? Well, just, cut her open and figure out what's causing
it. Who hasn't wanted to dissect their mother at some point?
Mom, I want to find out what makes you tick.
Yeah.
I mean, it got dark pretty quickly, and of course, I kind of expected that. And at the beginning,
wouldn't it have been funny if Thanos had had a happy upbringing? He's
What
They just buy
happened?
toys and everything he wants.
yeah, he's just not awkward at all. He had like he didn't have one parent trying to murder him and another one ignoring him at all. He had like two solid parents. You know, the kids at school just thought he was the bee's knees, and then he just wakes up one day and goes,
Fuck it.
this pedestrian existence. I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna have to start killing people. Like we don't understand. This didn't add up at all. See, someone write a story like that where the origin makes no sense.
Wait a second.
That's
all he says. I should murder people now.
I should just. My parents love me, and the kids at school think I'm great. I'm gonna murder everyone.
Psychosis is psychosis, and what we get treated
As is
here.
Laparca. Laparca is Laparca.
Laparca is Laparca.
And Juventude is Juventude. I can do this all day.
I'm moving on. All right.
That's probably they're the best.
Issues 3 and 4. So after murdering his mother, Thanos leaves Titan to find a life elsewhere. Finding a wife and having a child, Thanos, it seems, has left his murderous ways. Until a new life beckoned him to become a member of a pirate crew, only piloting, never taking part in the slaughter, just watching it unfold. Traveling the galaxy, siring more children, Thanos is challenged by the captain of the ship, who had grown tired of him not taking part in the killing. As the captain is ready to land a killing blow, Thanos blacks out and awakes to find the captain laying in a bloody heap with the crew chanting his name. Taking the ship back to Titan, Thanos finds his old lady friend from his younger days, and his insatiable lust to have her as his bride leads her to persuade Thanos to kill his wife and son on Titan, and all of his offspring soon thereafter. Later, on some random planet, Thanos has grown tired of the killing. I mean, it's just random planet. I don't think there's a name to it, but Thanos grows tired of the killing. It has become so mundane to him, and the scores he has killed, he has come no closer to having her as his bride. His resentment, his resentment grows, and he orders his shipmates to put her in the brig. But Thanos is surprised to find that they have no idea who or what he is talking about. It turns out the woman whom he met long ago may only be seen by him, and she reveals herself to be the embodiment of death. Thinking himself mad, Thanos contemplates suicide but cannot follow through. Instead, driven solely now to make death love him. He is intent on quenching her deadly thirst with a massacre of his own people. All right, so that's where we end issue 4. He's heading towards Titan. He is thought about killing himself because he's realized that he has gone mad, but instead he's turned around and he's just decided to try and make death love him. So, finishing out the book, issue 5, egged on by his soon-to-be bride, Thanos lays waste to Titan. And as he thinks his goal is complete, death reminds him he still has one more life to take, his father, the great scientist Alars. Alars attempts to show his son that the thing that is controlling him is not in fact real, that she is a construct of his own broken mind. Thanos spares his father, all the while questioning his own sanity. As he walks away, Death stops him and falls into his embrace and kisses him, and what I feel is a real symbolic gesture of the hold Death has on Thanos, or the madness that has taken Thanos' mind. And that is pretty much where we end the book. So there isn't much. I mean, there isn't much that happens after that, other than he's just pretty despondent about what he's had to go through. He walks off in the distance as Death is yelling his name. So there we go. That's issues 1 through 5. I guess first.
Typical woman, though, right? You know, she spends the entire book, you know, goading him to murder his friends and family and, you know, his children and everything. And it's never enough for her. She's never satisfied. And then and then finally she's like, if you do this one last thing, I'll finally love you.
Oh, how many times does that come up? She's like,
right.
One more thing.
One more thing.
Yeah.
You know, take out the garbage. One more thing. Paint the thing. One more thing.
A woman is asking him in his mind to commit genocide, and you're saying, oh, it's just like a woman to ask you to take out the trash. It's just like a woman to ask you to kill an entire planet.
Well, women can be demanding.
I'll tell you right now, when we get to rereading, when we reread,
I have nothing to say to that.
You remember these comments here, Mark, because when we read, I'm not going to say reread because I can't
you're
say
having
it.
this just as bad time as I am.
I've had it all night. When we read Infinity Gauntlet again, just wait until we get through that and watch Death and how she acts with Thanos through that.
I remember. She's a bitch.
Dude, it's like you won't talk to him at all.
The whole
She's
time.
giving him the cold shoulder.
He's like, look, I've killed all these people. She's like, my last boyfriend had a bigger penis. Wait, what? That's the whole book.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does not come up in the book ever.
Must have been that one page they had to cut out. All right, well, let me throw some questions here to you guys. I mean, Mark, what do you think of Thanos' early portrayal? Jason Aaron writing this early portrayal of Thanos.
See, here's my issue with this. It's not that I didn't enjoy the book, because I did. I thought it was a fairly easy read. My problem is he has the one traumatic incident as an infant where the mom almost kills him, and then nothing. You don't really get anything from his early adolescence that would have shaped him to the point where when he's a teenager, he would start to have active psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one time they show him interacting with other children, they're not mean to him at all. They're acting nice to him. And again, I'm like, I'm not seeing a reason that he should have gone this crazy.
Yeah, I think what Jason Aaron does well here is he kind of throws swerve, bro. All the people are actually nice to him. What I expected out of this was he was going to be ridiculed because he stood out from the rest of everybody else because of his mutation. I figured he would be murderous from the get-go because of his mutation, of what he was like.
I'm willing to buy that he just like developed schizophrenia early on if they had addressed it a little bit more. But because they want to get you with that surprise, he was hearing voices all along. It's not really a girl. It's his own psyche. Okay, but then I feel like there had to have been more there. I feel like they hinged a lot of this story on that reveal, and I didn't think the reveal was particularly strong, especially if you buy the argument that it's not him hallucinating, that it's actually been Death communicating with him all these years. Okay, why him in particular then? And again, if any of you, if you've read most people who've read Marvel Comics are at least aware of the Infinity Gauntlet and maybe even aware of Death's relationship to Thanos in that story. So again, it's not all that much of a reveal. It's not a huge surprise that if you buy which I don't, by the way, I'm still of the philosophy that that's not actually Death. That's his own. That's the voices in his head. But even if I'm wrong, and that was really supposed to be Death, and certainly the Wikipedia entry seemed to think that was Death, then why would that be a surprise? Death is the whole reason he went on the Infinity Quest in the first place. Mm-hmm. And has been a big part of his character development. So, for me, the book is a mixed bag. One, it's repetitive. And two, I didn't feel like there was enough there to really show why he would have descended into madness the way that he did. On the other hand, I thought it was an okay story. I thought it was interesting to see when he decides he's going to kill, like how he comes to that belief. And I thought him trying to appease what he believes is death was interesting. But outside of that, I was like, okay, yeah, the craziest murderous madman of the universe. Sure, whatever, and like I said, it just kind of all happens. I know people have complained about the backstory to Anakin Skywalker, and it's like, well, it has to end a certain way, and so even if all of the things leading up to that don't make any sense, or it's like, well, but you still have to have this hard ending. And it's the same thing here with Thanos. He has to eventually become the biggest villain in the universe outside of Galactus.
Mm-hmm. Ronnie, what do you think of the early portrayal here of Thanos and his young life?
I liked it because it shows truly the mad titan part of him. Was he crazy? Absolutely. I have to disagree with Mark on it because I really think that's Death, and I think that's who driving. Because what does Death want? Death wants death.
A sandwich.
Well, she needs one in some parts of it. She's looking a little skeletal.
Who knows what a woman really wants? Honestly, Ronnie Adams, you can make the argument that what does she really want? Nobody knows what women want. Women don't know what women want.
Why?
Listen, I don't know how this got on to your hatred of females, but
I don't hate women at all.
I know. I don't know why I said that.
I think it's curious that Death is being portrayed as a woman. Just putting that out there.
Well, It is what it is.
It is.
But
I don't know if you've dated enough, you would come to realize women equal death.
I didn't want to. That was kind of my roundabout way of saying that. But she wants more death, and who had the greatest potential to create that, to make that happen, and that was Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
How about syphilis?
No, even syphilis didn't kill as many people as syphilis is coming. Hey, syphilis didn't even kill as many people as Thanos did. I mean, let's be honest. He murdered a lot of people, including his own offspring. It's never enough. It's never enough for her, and that it almost makes Thanos a sympathetic character in that light because be it he's insane and murderous, he's just trying to impress a girl, and you do stupid things when you're trying to impress a girl.
Yeah.
So
stupid things like wipe out half the universe,
Well, yeah. I mean, come on.
Well, I think the representation of death here in this book is a lot different than what we're going to read from Infinity Gauntlet. The silent.
Is it really though?
Well, she's
torturing him the entire time. She's torturing.
Yeah, but she's not talking at all in Infinity Gauntlet. And
I don't know how many torture sessions you've been a part of, but
with a woman involved,
there are different ways.
Trust me, sir. I'm married.
Yeah,
you better watch it, pal.
What the hell are you talking
about?
But welcome to this episode of No Ma'am.
Yeah, right. All of us with our hands jammed down our pants and
leaning back,
looking towards Al Bundy. But there's different ways of torturing him, and she's pretty good at all of them. And it's the silent treatment.
Mm-hmm.
In this she talks him to death. Hey, you have to kill. You have to kill. You have to kill. You have to do this. You have to make sure that I am pleased.
Thanos,
and
am I the prettiest girl you've ever seen? Thanos, why won't you talk to me, Thanos? Thanos.
Why do you always have to hang out with the guys? And
exactly. Why do you always have to go out with your pirate friends, Thanos?
What, do you love the pirates more than me? And then you find out that he's taking dead people back to his bed quarters thinking it's her. And then, he finds that out and it drives him a little more crazy. I mean, come on. It's all mind games, with, death at the wheel.
I come out of this book, looking at how Jason Aaron showed the slow burn of Thanos' mind, pretty much. I mean, and it felt very real to me also, because it almost
made me worried about him.
Well, yeah. I mean, as growing up, he's got a father that loves him and won't dare believe that his son is capable of, doing these crazy things, including killing his own mother, while his grandfather, Kronos, I think is who it was like, what are you,
it's
blind?
Almost like, if you loved him that much, why didn't you pay a little bit of attention to him?
Oh, we're definitely
in the cradle and the silver spoon.
No, this is definitely.
I mean, it is what it is.
This book is Jeremy material. All right, if we're going to go Pearl Jam, Jeremy.
Jeremy spoke in class today.
I don't know if you know this, but every time it's mentioned, does not an invitation to sing.
What's he talking about? Oh, yes.
I have a song in my heart I will sing, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Apparently not.
So, okay. So yeah.
Clearly, I remember. Sorry.
Gnashed his teeth within the recess of the lady's breast. How could I forget?
And it hit me with a surprise.
My jaw.
All of Pearl Jam just turned around a disturbance.
Drop wide open.
They're all like, "What is going on? Someone is ruining us."
No, they weren't. Pearl Jam was not good to begin with. So.
Ouch. So
Shots
take
fired.
it back. No. Take it back.
Oh, you're talking to the wrong person, buddy.
Oh goodness.
Take it back.
Anyway,
I won't.
So I don't know. I think it was neat to see, Thanos be, slowly positioned. If you look at this book, and let's just say death is
Thanos kill all those people.
Well, death is this construct, in my opinion. Ronnie, I think I'm leaning with Mark on here. Okay. The thing is,
it's okay to be wrong.
I hear you. I think that, death is I really can't see this as being death. I think it is his mind playing tricks on him, just like his dad said. You're broken. Your mind is broken. And I really think that what his dad was saying was true. Like, look, it's just me and you in this room. There's nobody else. While death is howling at him, it's his mind that has been, just destroyed. Now, as for the traumatic event, Mark, I don't know. I think the one thing that the girl showed up before the incident that happened in the caves.
I was going to say, when he has the one incident when he's first born where the mother tries to stab him. And if you know anything about child development, a lot of what happens in infancy isn't going to stay with you.
Yeah, it's gone.
Really malleable at that age to where, you could survive your mother wanting to stab you and, having to be taken away without it really affecting you.
Mm-hmm.
If once you get to 3, 4, 5, 6, and that happens, it might stay with you a bit. But at that age, not really. And then they just jump ahead to him being at school. And again, he's just nerdy and awkward. He's not really bothering anybody. And they're just like, hey, Thanos, come play. And he's like, okay. And then after that is when the voices started. Schizophrenia is a genetic thing that can happen that starts to show itself when you're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, somewhere in there. Could be younger, depending on other genetic factors or sociological factors, drug factors, etc. Certainly there are some cases of little kids. And this isn't this isn't to be compared with the little kid who has the invisible friend. That's not what we're saying is schizophrenia. But there have been some documented cases of actual kids who developed hallucinations as really small children. But like I said, in most cases, it happens much later in life. And not without, and in some cases, not without a precipitating traumatic event.
That's what I was going to ask. I didn't know.
Nothing in the book that goes to any sort of precipitating event to me that would have caused that to happen. It would have made more sense had the hallucinations started in the cave.
Yeah. So, Jason Aaron is writing a tale here that is, kind of leaves these things up in the air. I don't think it's a mark of bad writing. I think what it is it's just a way of getting people to discuss. Okay, is he crazy?
Your own adventure.
Exactly. Is he crazy or is he not? Well, the voices started before he went into the cave. So maybe he is crazy. Is death actually the representation of death? Well, if he's crazy, then she's not actually there. So he became crazy in some way, shape, or form. Or if
here's my argument for why it's not death. For me, for it to have been death, I feel like there had to have been an explanation as to why she chose him. There really isn't, though. It's just she just does. I'm I feel like the time to have done that would have been in the big reveal that it's death. And it's I saw you, I saw you at your birth. I saw you, all these years, and I waited for my time. In other words, make death more of a villain. To me, it's all just kind of random, which to me speaks of psychosis.
So are you saying that this is with this not being death, then what happens? Does he go and actually find death at some point in order to try and woo her, making
I believe he's inspired by these early events in his life to go out and seek the living embodiment of death.
Okay. All right. Now I could believe that. I could see that.
And if I remember correctly, in Infinity Gauntlet, Death is nonplussed. She's not impressed with Thanos. And eventually she turns on him and joins the other cosmic beings in defeating him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, again, doesn't really line up with Death as portrayed in this book.
It's a really cool look at his background. His history. It was a fun read. I mean, I won't lie.
That's why I like a lot of what he writes is compelling and it keeps you interested. I didn't know what I was going to get there with this book. I didn't know if we were going to be getting just a tale of him as a young kid, this evil little kid growing up. But no, he did kind of take, it's a nice, sweet Thanos. Oh, look at that. That almost feels kind of expected. But like I said, the story is interesting. The story is interesting. And
interesting.
The art is great too. There's some great pages throughout that. The one that sticks out in my mind is the one where him and Death finally kiss. like I said, I mean, it's a representation of him either accepting his own madness in Mark's case, or accepting death, accepting Thanos' embrace. But so anyway, I will make you love me. I will make you love me. That speaks to that's not, you're not right in the head trying to do that either. Trying to make somebody love you, just death alone, but making somebody who's not completely interested in you to try and love you. That's a tough sell anyway. So no wonder he went crazy. So
I don't know. I would have liked to have seen more of Titan in the book.
Yeah.
Shit, Eros. I think they mentions Eros, but Eros is off panel all the time. Like there's even a point where Eros, which is Thanos' brother, I believe,
Star Fox.
That's right. They're sitting down to dinner, and the dad is yelling.
The rapey superhero.
He's like, "Hey, Eros, come on over here." But you don't see Eros. You don't even see, like, he doesn't even speak off panel. So
he's off making somebody love him.
Yeah, creepy.
That's why I called him the rapey superhero, because I mean there was that whole She-Hulk thing, storyline where she was trying to get him to beat the charges of like sexual misconduct and talking people into representing him, and then she figured out that maybe he used his powers on her because they had a thing.
Oh damn.
Yeah, weird story, but
interesting.
Well, He didn't.
Oh, he didn't? It came out that he did not?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Arrow's got a bad rap in that. And I'm just saying, She-Hulk slept with Juggernaut. So.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Juggernaut could handle the pace.
Oh. Jeez.
And she got it on with Hercules.
Ooh.
Hercules and
Tony Stark.
I could see Hercules and She-Hulk like getting it on. That seems like a nice couple.
Tony Stark, no.
Yeah, afterwards,
unless she's
laying in bed with bruises saying, ouch.
Maybe if he's wearing the Iron Man suit. Maybe that's what he was doing with the Hulkbuster suit, eh?
No, I read the comic book. It didn't.
He wasn't wearing the Hulkbuster suit?
No.
He wasn't Hulkbusting?
Oh, my gosh, man. Let's get out of here. All right, so that has been Source Materials coverage of Thanos Rising in preparation for Infinity War. Man, it's going to be a fun show. I cannot wait to watch this movie. I'm very excited. I'm glad we got a little glimpse into the origin, which, do you guys know if any of this is going to be showing up in?
They are
highly doubt it.
They are going to deal very briefly with Thanos' origin.
Okay. I'd figure they would have to give him some time, because all we've had is after credit scenes of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we know virtually, if you don't know anything about the comics and you're just going off the movies, you know virtually nothing about Thanos.
Yeah,
right.
He's just been this prune-faced villain that's showing up at the end of these Marvel movies. So
he had a little role in Guardians of the Galaxy, but anything having to do with Thanos has been, bring me the Infinity Stones, and that has not gone well. It did not go well for him.
I don't know much about Thanos other than
don't know much about history.
Yep, there it is.
Biology.
Don't know a whole lot about the guy, so it was kind of nice to have a little peek into his background. He has been all.
I feel like the story could have been fleshed out a little bit more. I think that's my only final comment about it. Like, it's not that it was a bad story. I just feel like they could have done. I'm usually the one that's saying, could we cut some of this? This is a little too long. I feel like this one this could have used a little bit more background, a little bit more story.
I don't know if Jason Aaron was kind of handcuffed to, hey, you only got 5 issues, and that's usually the way it works. Or like, you got 5 issues, and he might have been on a few other projects. This was 2013, so I don't know what else he had his hands in. I think it might have been sometime after God Butcher, but regardless, they were getting ready, because I remember seeing at the end of this, there was an ad for Thanos will next appear in Infinity, which that was one thing we were going to talk about at one point, wasn't it? When we want to talk about just Infinity,
yeah, and then the graphic novel with all the tie-ins is like $50. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah. I don't blame you. So anyway, all right. Well, let's go ahead and get into plugs. Mark Radulich, tell us what is on the schedule, sir.
All right. If you're listening to this on YouTube, I'm sorry.
Apologies.
What dropped today in the Radulich and Broadcasting Network was our coverage, a very, very brief show, Monsters Unleashed. It's like a 30-minute show and a 10-minute gag reel. Tomorrow on the network, if you've listened to this on YouTube, is our Damn You Hollywood coverage of Rampage, the #1 movie of the weekend, at least for now. And then tomorrow is Metal Hammer of Doom, Visions of Atlantis. Next week, we're not going to have a source material. So next week we'll have a pair of TV parties on Monday and Tuesday. Yes, we won't have source material on Monday because the source material for Infinity Gauntlet will drop Thursday the 26th when Avengers comes out. In the meantime, we'll have a TV party for DC's Legends of Tomorrow. How great was that finale, Jesse?
It was good. It was good. I liked it.
Bebo.
Oh, yeah. I told Colton came in and asked me about something. I said, Colton, turn around and watch this stuffed animal destroy this demon. He watched it for a good, minute and left.
Of course he did. We'll have back-to-back TV parties. One for DC's Legends of Tomorrow Season 3, and then another one for the first season of Lost in Space from Netflix. I don't know how this is good. We're going to do this with the Spreaker setup the way that it is. We'll have to talk offline. But that's supposed to be Coop's pick. Coop's running the show on April 25th. I will be at the Foo Fighters, so it'll just be Jesse and Coop, and then we'll do something off of Coop's list, maybe, or there won't be a show. I don't know how that's going to go. The 26th, like I said, is the source material for the Infinity Gauntlet. The following week, when this show airs, we will also be doing a Damn You Hollywood for Avengers, Infinity War, and Metal Hammer of Doom, Godsmack, When Legends Rise. So
the Screaming Boy podcast. You were able to find us on any kind of social media. If you happen to look for us when we were still around, it was Screaming Boy Podcast on Facebook, at Screaming Boy PR on Twitter, and Screaming Boy Podcast on Instagram. But you can't find those anymore. We had a lot of good shows, but this last one has made me want to murder people. So I thought it best just to, call it quits.
Aw.
Yeah, whatever. You suck, Ronnie.
And
Adams.
all of that is a lie. That's a lie.
April Fools.
I mean, you can really find all that stuff if you look for it. And we haven't called it quits. And it was still there. And that's all I got.
When was your last show?
I don't even know.
It was January. Want to know how I know that?
Because you make it your life's goal to torture me.
No, because I keep checking and I see the words "The Empire Strikes Out" January 17th. It haunts me. I check it every day. Oh, has he uploaded it today? Nope. Still The Empire Strikes Out.
It's my show.
I know.
I do what I want.
Ladies and gentlemen, go give the Rattlich in Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. Is this one of them? It's debatable.
No. It's not. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not. We're not like this all the time.
Yes, no, this is an outlier. This is clearly an outlier. You can get your fix on Route 66 if you go back into that archive. Check out some of the great content that Source Materials brought to you. We talked about
it's some of our best work. Yvonne.
Yeah, right.
The clip show is amazing. It's coming along real well. And so, look, we have all sorts.
Are you really editing together a clip show?
I'm not doing a clip show. Although, congratulations to our buddies.
I tried a little bit just now.
Pound the Pop Culture Podcast, who just hit their 100th episode. And they did a clip show for their 100th episode. Speaking of clip shows, I'll maybe do that when we get to episode 300. Okay? Maybe. There will be a lot of...
All you have to do is piece together all the gag reels.
A lot of horrible content.
It's true.
A lot of horrible content. There's all sorts of great stuff there in the archive for the Source Material Show. We are just like a book club for people who read comics. If you read a story and then you want to hear some guys sit down and talk about the story, then I would suggest you check out what we have there to offer. You might find something you may enjoy. If you haven't had a chance to read a story, we'll cover it. We'll talk about about it. It's fun to listen. We are up to over.
If you just want to hear three neckbeards make fun of blacks and women, this is the show for you.
160, almost 160 episodes. You're more than welcome to go give the Source Material Facebook page a like as well. I usually share most of what gets aired here over there. And you can follow me at Stiznarkey on Twitter, at SourceMattCast on Twitter as well. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for Thanos Rising.
For Jesse Starcher, for Ronnie Adams, and for Bingo Bango Bongo.
There it is. I love him and pet him and squeeze him and call him George.
Don't know much about history.
Huh.
Don't know much. Sorry. I mean,
No, you're not.
Every week.
Every week. Just as bad at work.
All right.
Suck it, Mark.
If I'm going to write this shit, I want to read it, okay? Because I read it. Him. All right, Thanos.
What is happening?
Born stuck between Powerpuff Girls and Adam Warlock's Ding Dong. Son.
Who would have thought Thanos was a schwarzer? You know, he's roaming around the world just having illegitimate kids and moving on.
Is that the term for it?
Schwarzer?
I don't know what the hell that is.
I've learned a lot of Yiddish.
Hey, that's a real flipper flab. Oh, okay. That's pretty much what it sounded like you said.
I thought schwarzer would sound funnier than black guy. Damn it!
Thinking himself Mad Titan, Thanos completes suicide. He completed suicide. And let me try that again.
Over.
And he's dead.
I think, man, I hate to, but I have to disagree with Jesse just because Jesse. Hi, Jesse.
Hey,
I have
how's
to
it going?
disagree. Pretty good. Not really. But I have to disagree with
I'm Mark.
Mark, that guy right there.
Why did you guys screw this podcast up? I've been over here steady as a rock. Solid.
Right.
Solid as a rock. Let me sing some more.
No.
Playing the part of Mark Radulich is Jesse Starcher tonight.
That's my gimmick.
Let's think about this, gentlemen. Do we really want to air this?
Come with this show? Yeah, buddy. I can edit it down to at least 10 minutes of good content. That would be me reading, and then that would be the rest.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it on.
Speaking of bringing it on, now here's Ronnie Adams to tell you when the Toys R Us show is never going to come on. I'm a fat, bald guy with a beard. And I just was like, hello, like pointing at myself, like, see this? That's the neck beard. Duh. Bingo, bango, bongo.
Hey.
Kangaroo.
I don't know that song.
What?
Schmutz. That's about as familiar as a schmutzva to me.
Vodka, you uncultured swine.